On to the next area, which is hopefully going to have more Metroids than the area we're leaving. Maybe it's the fact that so many of these Metroids run away to extend the fight that makes it feel more like a grind than the AM2R version. Again, we have no way up this way as far as I can tell. Now maybe I'm just not as observant as I think I should be this far into the game. Really wish getting rid of the acid this way felt epic, but after doing it so often it really is as routine as flushing a toilet. Again, definitely prefer it when the acid disappeared after an earthquake of unknown origins as we killed each group of Metroids, instead of these unexplained devices that are supposed to make the progress of making progress feel more in the player's hands than before. Anyway, before we go directly to the next area, I want to see if another room with acid has been drained. Thankfully, it's not far from here. Good, we're already close enough to another Metroid that we're getting a ping. So we've got a door that can only be opened from the other side in a section that we can only traverse with the spider ball. Wish I could say that looks ominous, but we've gone through this kind of obstacle way too often. And now we have a maze with some blocks we need the grapple beam to break. Okay, this is certainly odd. What would pulling that thing to the side even gain us access to, anyway? Probably should have used a pulse to figure it out, but again, I'd rather not become outright dependent on it, since we've got 2 more 2D Metroids to go through where we won't have that trick. Guess we're going back to the main path. Was really hoping that I was being clever in finding a way to the next Metroid before the game even told us how many more we have to kill to make progress. Not even sure why I felt that damn hopeful for something that was so unlikely to actually happen. Of course, I'm also unsure why I'm always killing so many enemies when they aren't a threat or even between me and our next destination. Well, that pulse certainly didn't tell us anything we didn't already know. Of course, maybe I'm just not looking closely enough at the minimap to tell if there's anything useful there. Again, nothing in the spot that looks just out of the way enough to lead to something. It looks like we cleared a path before we got to the roadblock. I kind of wish we could do that more often, really. If something isn't fast enough to hit us when we're spider-balling on a ceiling that close to where it launched from, then it's downright pathetic. Or maybe I just have higher expectations for the kinds of enemies we should be running into this late in the game. Not that the recurring enemies are generally much more than an annoyance as we go from one area to the next. I think we took less damage that way than we would have if I'd just rolled right through that acid, even with the lightning armor on. Though maybe I'm just overestimating the acid a bit there. Right. Of course we can't get through from here. If only I felt like there was something going on other than us having some trouble getting to our destination, wherever that is. Sure, I appreciate the upgrades we find along the way, but we haven't been getting even the slightest hint of what our major challenge is gonna be next, or how long until we get a major upgrade next. Wait, the only thing we could do from here was open up another path that we don't know how to reach from here? Ugh, I swear, the other two games didn't make it feel like we'd slowed it down to a bloody crawl, and I doubt the two games after this will give me that sense either. Though I suppose I might start feeling that way when we get to the much longer Metroid Prime games. But that's still quite a ways in the future. Not even sure why I'm heading this way instead of continuing trying to head downwards. If I'm trying to go for the section of ceiling that should be open for us to try getting to the upgrade there, I should have remembered the wall right next to the elevator. Not that the minimap ever seems to remember little things like the walls in a room. It just cares about the overall shape of the room, at least it does in this game. I don't remember if it had the same problem in AM2R. Another thing we don't have the means to get through yet, I swear. I know the further down we go, the more inconvenient our path is supposed to get, but we've been dealing with barriers of a similar nature for how long now? This sort of thing just somehow makes a map feel even more convoluted. And considering we've already dealt with this planet's approximate layout in AM2R, I think I'm justified calling things more convoluted than that after this many hours of this game. Anyway, seems we've got 3 to find in this area. Based on how long it took for us just to reach the next acid toilet, I'm sure we're going to be in this area for another 2 or 3 clips. Well, not the direction I thought we'd need to go, considering we had a ping for a Metroid down there. But I suppose one road's as good as any, especially when we're looking for new territory. Okay, been a while since we've had any earthquakes in the background. Is that broken statue supposed to be ominous? Because the cutscene kind of implied I should be worried about now. And we've got a save point not long after the odd if short cutscene after an earthquake. Definitely a good combination of signs to know that business is about to pick up. Right, no way up after we go down. Oh, hello there! It's been a while since we've seen you wandering around, and apparently he's no longer content to just stay in the background. Holy shit. I suppose I should be curious what made the big robot decide to start trying to kill Samus right now. But the more important thing is that we've got to run. We have absolutely no means to hurt that thing, and that spinning digging thing will kill us if we touch it. And of course, make matters even more infuriating, we have very little time to figure out a path forward if it isn't immediately obvious. You don't want to know how many deaths I've cut out of this clip. Just know that there was a combination of trial and error, plus me just doing stupid crap, because I've gotten frazzled by how many times I've been killed here, which got me killed a few more times on top of that. Okay, progress. Always nice to see. And dear God, that robot did a good job of waking me up. There certainly wasn't anything like him in AM2R. Apparently we're doing this dance again in a different area. Bloody hell. Still, got to admit, I might not have taken that long break from this game if this thing had actually shown up sooner. Son of a bitch. Looks like we got close to a safe area just as a bastard caught up to us. At least this game is merciful enough to give us some generous checkpoints along the way. I certainly wouldn't want to start all of that from the top. As a side note, why in the hell did I go through those plants when I didn't turn on the lightning armor here? That was certainly a good amount of needless damage. And here's where we died last time. Since that's not a save point, I'm not all that tempted to walk into it right now. Missiles that would require us to shoot from above or below in order to break through those blocks. Bit odd, but again, I've been liking the change of pace at the moment. Now for the next stage of the chase. Really? Well, at least the flamethrower shut down just before we jumped into its line of pain. Bloody hell, we are just gonna have to keep plumbing our way out of here, aren't we? Wonder how far off from the next safe zone we were when we got killed there. Right, running the third floor again. It's funny how the fights with Metroids and this escape sequence really pull me into the game, but everything between those moments just feels hard to keep paying attention to. It's just such an odd thing where the parts of the game I love are done so well I can't think of how they could have been done better for the most part, but the stuff that leads you to those moments around here just feels like a pain in the ass to go through, and I don't recall feeling that in the previous two games. Especially since, aside from the frequency of roadblocks and puzzles, there really isn't anything in the exploration part of the game that the other Metroid titles we didn't actually do. It's just baffling. Seems we're done with this chase. Again, I've got no clue why the game decided to take so damn long to have that thing actively try to kill us when we saw it activated quite a while ago. And it certainly seems to be acting like its only goal is to kill the intruder who happens to be wearing some Chozo tech. Hell, just how many Chozo-related things have tried to kill Samus over the years anyway? Okay, for some reason we have no way to go back to the left. Though I assume when it's time to leave, we'll be able to go through those hallways again. Especially since I remember seeing an upgrade or two that we didn't have time to grab on our way out. Typically a good sign for that sort of thing. Okay, so if there's another breakable rock upwards, it's something that can't be destroyed by our beams. Wonder why that gel is only on the corner over there. Huh. No breakable rocks either above or below us. Again, not a fan of how the mini-map doesn't show the terrain within the room. Though I don't recall having the same map complaints with the previous games. How much of that is because the rooms in the other 2D Metroids are simpler in a lot of ways, and how much of that is because a mini-map is its own separate screen here, even when we're running around, instead of something that we can only really check in detail when we've paused. Okay, so the only way through that way is to fall from above, which we can't get to from here. Why the hell do I keep thinking there's a way to make progress from this dead end? So, still no breakable rocks above us. In hindsight, I really should have figured that we'd need to use the space jump to get up further. Should have figured that out sooner here. And there's apparently little reason to bother checking that corner beneath us, because that would just drop us into a dead end that I thought would help us make progress. Well, we can't break through that, but we're still making progress, whatever that's worth. Okay, why didn't I counter that bat when we countered all the others in that hallway? And we've got a door that can only be reached if we have the baby Metroid. Or at least, not unless there's some kind of time-altering upgrade at some point that will let us move faster while the rest of the world moves more slowly. Not even sure why I stubbornly kept trying to get through it from here. Definitely getting the sense that we're going to be getting the super missile relatively soon. Still, considering how they typically space major upgrades around here, I wouldn't be surprised if I end up finding it in part 17 or 18. Right, no grapple point directly above us. And it looks like this annoying path would only lead to another teleport point. Again, it's kind of funny how something that's supposed to make traveling a bit more convenient around here feels like something that pisses me off more since I keep thinking there should have been something other than a teleport point after all the trouble I had getting over there. Okay, so being close to the acid is just as damaging as actually walking through it. Good to know.